Name is Blessed Sogah, and I'm welcoming you especially to PM Express. We know that they have sworn heaven and earth to protect lives and the well-being of the people that they pledge to serve. But we're asking the question, why are doctors refusing rural postings? That's the challenge that our health system is facing now. And for many of you who haven't heard about this, if you're a doctor newly posted and you haven't reported to your facility by now, there's a warning and ultimatum coming through from the Ministry of Health, because the health ministry, and by extension the minister, is fed up with this whole challenge of trying to force doctors to go into rural areas. And that's why I'm quoting him here, that by the end of February, if you have not reported, your name will be removed from the payroll. It's as simple as that. That's the instruction coming through from the Ministry of Health as part of the stern warning going out to newly posted doctors. You're wondering what the number is. Here's what we're dealing with. 463 doctors newly trained and of course posted in all, but a significant population, 65% of them say they don't like, or perhaps are not reporting to where they've been posted to. So you have just a little above 150 individuals saying, well, whatever the case, we'll stand by it and we'll go to where we are posted. And that's why we have only 158 doctors newly trained, of course, accepting that they would go wherever they are posted. Take a look at this picture, and it paints that stark reality of what's happening across the country. As of late last year, some regions, guess what, like Northeast, Upper West, OT region, these are some of the hardest hit areas in terms of the challenges that they have with the socio-economic standing. So there's, a very generally poor outlook in terms of economic opportunities in these three regions, and there's a corresponding response of turnout from these newly trained doctors. Almost all of them who've been sent to, for instance, the Northeast and Upper East region say, well, we're not showing up for work. It's as simple as that. So 0% turnout in Northeast and Upper West. That's how stark the reality is. It's also worse for regions such as the OT region, just above the Volta region, with 4.8 people going there. And you look at areas like Western North, Upper East, Northern and Savannah region. And it's fair to say that the northern sector especially has become a no-go area, quote unquote, for some of these newly trained doctors. They simply do not want to go there. This is what the picture is painting, that if you come down south to areas that are relatively or economically viable, and I'm using that word reservedly, you would see that parts of the national capital and the entirety, of course, 80% is the turnout that we're having. So many more of them who are posted to places such as the Greater Accra region and far more interested in reporting to work than places such as the Northeast, Upper East, or Upper West, I should say, region, where there's absolutely nobody going to these two regions. That's how stark the situation is. Relatively, if you're looking at the Middle Belt, the Ashanti and Eastern regions, you're having quite a significant representation there as compared to the other regions, of course, that many of these doctors do not find, quote unquote, lucrative. And there's a bigger story that I'll be painting to you shortly for you to see what's at stake for Ghana's health sector. We're talking about the total population of registered medical and dental practitioners in Ghana, and they are not even about 15,000. So they're carrying a burden of a population of 30.8 million people, and we're dealing with these people, just having them spread across the country evenly, so that if the case is that we need medical services in some of these parts of the country, we could have at least representation of at least a doctor newly trained to augment the shortfall there. Because look at the picture. 13,000 plus individuals serving a whole population of 13.8 million. And so you would want as many more doctors to go into rural areas where you already have a worsened situation. Because approximately, if you're looking at the national picture, one doctor is serving as many as 2,337 people. That's like doing magic already. So if you're adding one more doctor and they're not going to places like the Upper West, and other parts of the northern parts of the country, then of course you know what awaits our health system. And so that's why we've been trying as much as possible to listen to some of the debates, some of the key reasons and arguments all of these newly posted doctors have been making. Guess what? It ranges from accommodation. You want to look at preference for practice abroad, because this is where especially you have the cash flowing. If someone is paid way more, 7 times the amount they would have to earn here in this country, then it goes without saying that many more doctors after training would want to leave the country and then go practice abroad. So that's been the challenge. No accommodation in some of the areas that we've been talking about, especially the rural areas. Some of these doctors have to find their own way of keeping up. So it's been part of the challenge that many of these doctors raise. And then there's the point about medical equipment, which is almost close to non-existent in some of these rural facilities. But government is coming through with their own argument. And here's what they say. And of course, if you've listened to the sector minister, Kwabena Minta Kando, he's always maintained the case that, look, first of all these doctors have received some sort of subvention from the government. So you've been supported, the subsidies on your fees, on some of the trainings that goes on. So it's part of the argument for which government says, just give back to the society at least. If you're posted to these rural areas, you're not going to be there, after all, forever. So it's part of government's approach now to collaborate with some of the professional bodies so they can see the way out. But whatever the case, indeed, government accepts tonight that there's a legitimate challenge that exists with some of these health facilities. There is the reason for which we are bringing back the whole conversation. Just looking once more at this newly trained teachers, doctors, I should say, their plights in some of these rural communities. And we're asking the question, why are so many of them refusing to serve in the very communities that they've sworn to protect the lives and the well-being of individuals there? Your guess is as good as mine, but when we return, we throw the question around all stakeholders and find out if we'll be able to answer the question, begging for many answers tonight here on PM Express. Stay with us.